Hello, I want to thank you for clicking on my channel. I'm PI187, and today I'm going to be reacting to 11 uniquely British things you'll only find in the UK. And, alright, let's just get into this. You ready? Alright, let's do this.
Hi everyone, it's me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 7 years, and let me tell you, I've seen some weird stuff. The UK is full of things that are weird and wonderful, and I absolutely love it. So without further ado, let's go. Maybe saying I love it is maybe not the right choice of words, because the first thing we have to talk about is Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby, for the uninitiated, the only way that I can describe it is basically like a drug-fueled nightmare that just never ends. You wake up and yet it's still there. I think such a weird, can I say weird? I'm gonna say, this deserves to be weird. It is such a weird, like, pop culture icon that I think it's safe to say it's very divisive. You either despise Mr. Blobby, you don't get it, you wish it would end, or you think it's hilarious. I feel like that's it. You gotta be on one side or the other. And honestly, every time I have seen Mr. Blobby, it has been against my will. I don't get it.
He looks kind of funny to me, but I'd have to see more of it, I guess. So this is a big show over there, Mr. Blobby?
Quite frankly, I just don't get it. But on one hand, like I don't want to say appreciate. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I love that the UK is full of just strange things. Now that doesn't mean you're gonna like them all, because I don't like Mr. Blobby. I don't get it. But I love that the UK is so unique. It's so unique, and I never want to see Mr. Blobby in person because I think I would simply pass away. But I appreciate that the UK has a very...
I think I seen this on America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent or whatever it was on, this episode. Or I might have seen a short of it or something, but I have seen this thing right here. I didn't know who Mr. Blobby was at the time when I saw it.
Weird sense of
yeah, I find that funny.
Humor, and you're never gonna see something like this anywhere else. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Do you love Mr. Blobby or do you hate him? I feel like more people are gonna hate him, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Another thing that you will only see in the UK, and I absolutely love this, and it's about biscuits, but actually court and biscuits. Biscuits in court, or biscuits? Is it cake?
Biscuits in court? What is that all about?
Now, I didn't know when I came to the UK about Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cake. Jaffa.
Jaffa cakes. Now, just from the logo, is it an orange cake? I'm guessing it's an orange cake, but I have no clue. But that kind of looks like it's all cut out of orange peels. So that'd be my uneducated guess.
Also, did you know Jaffa cakes were introduced in the UK in 1927? Damn. Now basically in the UK, if you sell a chocolate covered biscuit, you have to pay tax on said biscuit, but not cakes. So Jaffa cake. Is it a cake? Is it a biscuit? If it is a chocolate covered biscuit, they would have to pay tax. If it is a chocolate covered cake, they would not have to pay.
Well, that's smart, isn't it? Let's just change the name of it so we don't have to tax it. Huh. That's funny. That actually looks pretty good, though.
Tax. And so they went to court, which I just absolutely love. Can you imagine like an episode of The Good Wife? But it's Jaffa cakes. So McVitie's defended their case that no, we're not a biscuit, we're a cake. All right, and here's why. And the court actually sided with them. And that even though Jaffa cake has characteristics of both a biscuit and a cake, they would be considered a cake and avoid the tax. This whole story it just makes me laugh. It's so British and I love it. But unfortunately, I hate Jaffa cakes. I think they're gross. Another thing that you will only see in the
Back on this Jaffa cake thing for a second. So what do they taste like? Do they have orange in the flavoring? Because just the fact that the Jaffa cake's name looks like it's all cut out of orange peels, for some reason is making me think they got like an orange flavor to them. Obviously covered with chocolate. But I have no clue. I've never heard of these before, so I wouldn't mind trying them out. I love sweets, so.
Jaffa cakes.
She doesn't like it, though. Look at that face.
I think they're gross. Another thing that you will only see in the UK has to do with TV, and perhaps that it is not free. So something that I learned very early on here in the UK is that you cannot watch TV for free. And I was very surprised.
Yeah. And it's really hard to react to some of the stuff from over there. If it's on the BBC, good luck putting it on YouTube without having them block it instantly. Some of the stuff I've been able to do, but I tried to do a reaction to Blackadder, and the BBC's like, no, they ain't doing that. Or any new Philomena Kunk stuff. Got blocked on that. Yeah, they got their copyrights down pretty good.
As a Canadian, I have never for free. And I was very surprised. As a Canadian, I have never heard of a TV license before. That was a new one for me. Also, can we talk about the letter?
What exactly is a TV license? Like, oh, you do have to pay for TV here, though. It's not like it's free. Now, you can get a few channels for free, with an aerial on your house, and you're picking them up, but like it's very, I don't even know if that's even a thing anymore. When I was a kid, I lived on a farm, and we had an aerial, and we only got like 3 channels, maybe two that were clear, and once in a blue moon we got a Fox channel, Fox 31, not which normally on cable over here it was on channel 15, I believe, but on the aerial it was called like Fox 31, and it had the good shows on it, but only on a very, very clear day. And it still would be snowy on the screen because it wasn't very good reception. But I think it was like channel 2 and 6 might have been, or 6 and 11 were like the only channels we would really get completely good on the aerial. But I lived in the city also as a child, and then you'd have a cable bill, and you just paid the cable company so much for your channel package. So I'm not sure what a TV license was. That kind of like, I don't get it. Hopefully she explains it.
Letters that you get. So most people who watch my videos are British. You will know what the TV license is. For the like 5% of people who don't, basically you have to pay for a license to watch live TV or like anything BBC related. So you don't have to.
Yep, BBC. Why should I pay for a TV license when I already pay to subscribe to a satellite or cable TV service? The requirements to hold a TV license and to pay a fee for it mandated by law under the Communications Act of 2003 and the Communications Television License Regulation 2004 as amended. So, I had a question. Do you guys have like Netflix and like Amazon Prime and all those things. And then if you had internet, could you not you still have to buy a TV license to watch them? Is that like I don't that's yeah, that just seems weird. Like if you're paying for the internet and you're paying for your say Netflix, do you still need to pay for a TV license just to be able to watch something there? Or is it something that just like is it just when you're watching the BBC or certain British shows maybe? I'm not 100% sure, but this is very little strange.
TV or like anything BBC related. So you don't have to pay a license to watch things like YouTube, but if you were watching like a live event on YouTube, technically that would fall under a license from what I understand. If you want to watch the BBC iPlayer, you have to have a license. You want to watch classic TV, you know, scrolling through the channels, you have to have a TV license. And with that, they send some wildly threatening letters.
Our agricultural property has no TV license. I visited today to find out why. Wow. You have not replied to our letters, so my visit today was the next stage of the official investigation into why your address doesn't have a TV license. Because we know you're probably watching a TV, so why aren't you paying us? This is insane. Don't risk prosecution and fines up to $1,000. Could you imagine going to jail for not paying a TV license? You're breaking the law if you watch or record live TV programs on any channel or device or download or watch BBC programs. BBC is very, very like about their stuff. On iPlayer without a TV license, the maximum penalty is $1,000 fine plus any legal costs and/or compensation that you may be ordered to pay. Could you get a conclusion? This need this in more accessible format. Yeah, that is how long has this been around for? Is this something that's new since streaming became a thing, or is this something that's always been there? This is weird.
Letters. So I remember it typically happens like when you move house. So I have lived in a whole bunch of homes and flats here in Kent over the last 7 years, and it oftentimes will happen, you like move into a new property and you get a threatening letter and they're like, hey, we know that you're watching live TV and you don't have a license and we're going to take you to court. Or it might say something like, we have begun formal like prosecution of you because we know you're watching TV without a license. It is really scary. And I realized that the money then goes towards the BBC, which, you know, is it a well-loved institution still? Is that true to say? So the money does go to the BBC and it does go towards, you know, media and that kind of stuff. But yeah, never seen anything like a TV license before. If you're watching from another country, do you have a license? Because I've never heard of it. While I was brainstorming things that you...
Yeah, I don't even have a TV provider, to be honest. I have my internet, which obviously gives me my internet, and then everything I watch is I pay for all these different streaming services. So I've got Amazon, Paramount, Netflix, Disney. I used to have, or no, I don't have Netflix anymore. I got rid of that one, but I still have, and we tried to get rid of Disney, but it's a pain in the ass to get rid of. So we're still paying for it. Once in a while, I find something on there worth watching. But yeah, I think we had like 5 streaming services we were paying for at one time, and now I think we're paying for 4. But mainly, it's you pay your cable bill and then pay for the streaming services and just watch whatever you want on them. There's no license involved. Yeah, that's just seems like an added fee.
You will only see in the UK. Of course, I thought, you know what? We gotta talk about this. This
What
beautiful
the hell is
abomination. So
that?
this,
Oops.
you have a license? Because I've never heard of it.
I went
While
back
I
too
was
far.
brainstorming things that you will only see in the UK, of course, I thought, you know what? We gotta talk about this.
Pie sandwich. Depends on what's in there. That might actually be pretty good.
This beautiful abomination. So this, of course, is a Wigan kebab. I'm so sorry. The pronunciation on that really sucks, doesn't it?
Wigan kebab.
There's nothing I can do about my voice. So this is a pie, little pie inside of a buttered roll. So normally, you might eat the little meat pie. Delicious.
Yeah,
Would
meat
love
pies
one.
are good.
Thank you. And
That's
Wigan
what it looked
said,
like
you
to
know
me.
what? Let's butter a roll and put it on either side. Some people may call this.
Well, yeah, like that actually wouldn't be too bad if it was, say, a turkey pie, turkey pot pie, or what do you want to call them. Then you put it inside the buttery roll. It'd be kind of like a Thanksgiving dinner, all them rolled up into one.
A pie farm. The pronunciation on that was pretty messed up. Was called this a pie farm. The pronunciation on that was pretty messed up, wasn't it? Listening to me speak is probably really annoying, isn't it? I have
Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna get it in the comments. For sure.
never seen anything like this. Not even close. The only thing that comes to mind is a chip butty, which is a sandwich made with fries inside. And guess what? That's British too. You guys love your
I'm gonna
carbs.
say, I've never
And you
seen
know what?
that.
I respect that
but
because
that
I
looks
do
edible.
too. I'll be honest though, I haven't had one of these and I would like to. I would really, really like to have one of these. Here in Kent, I can't say that I see these, at any sort of like fast food kind of places. So I could make my own, but it's never really the same, right? I should make my own anyway. Stay tuned. I'm gonna make my own. Not right now. Maybe tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Someday soon. Now, I am very lucky because one thing that I absolutely love to do is to try new food. And I don't want this video to be all about food. But let's be honest, the UK has some really weird food. So while we're here, I would just like to nominate one more thing, and it's this.
Are those fish heads? Yeah, I'll pass on that. Look at the look on her face. She'll pass on it too by the looks of it.
I'm sorry, what? Just looking at it makes me want to cry. So this is a stargazy pie. It is a pastry.
Oh, God, that looks horrible. Oh. No. No, no, no.
Based fish pie, which, fine. Fish pie, sure. Obviously doesn't look like a fish pie, perhaps, because it has whole pilchards, which I didn't know what that is, but apparently it's basically like a slightly larger sardine, and the whole
I'm not a fan of
slightly
sardines.
larger sardines have to stick out of the pie and look at you.
Yummy.
So, I will say, I love the UK, all right? Worked very hard to be here. And I love that the UK has such diverse and interesting and historic food. Like a lot of food that is still consumed today has like historic connotations. And you look at something like this and you think, that looks medieval. And it probably is. But you can still get it today. And as someone from Canada, where, not to shade Canada, we don't really have that kind of history. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
Historical, traditional, medieval foods that people are still consuming. Doesn't
We have poutine and maple syrup.
really happen. So I appreciate that that kind of stuff still happens in the UK. Will I ever try one of these? Honestly, probably, because I hate myself. I think you should try everything twice as long as it doesn't kill you. And I'm not allergic to fish or pies or pastry, so there's really no reason why I shouldn't try one. But there's something about the whole heads just looking at you that makes me question all of my life choices. For me. Something that you will only see in the UK are Brits throwing themselves down a very steep hill to catch a rolling cheese. This, of course, is the Cooper Hill cheese roll, and I love it. And you might think, oh, this is like a nice little festival. People from all over the world come to this festival / competition. All over the world. Perhaps like me, hearing about this, you think, ooh, that's really cute. That's really fun. How quaint, how silly. I want to partake. I want to go. I want to run down a hill chasing a bit of cheese. And then you see the footage.
Yeah. I've seen this
think,
on
maybe
on
not.
YouTube once.
This competition is rough. And people get hurt, which is not something we should laugh about. However, I wanted to include it in this particular video because recently a Canadian woman won her heat, won the race. And yeah, she was knocked unconscious for a little bit of it, but she won. Go Canada. Now, while I was researching about the cheese rolling thing, which has been on my radar for a while because I love cheese. And you guys, when you find out that I like cheese, everybody sends me a link to the cheese rolling festival. However, you guys didn't tell me that the UK has the, what I would say, most wild collection of festivals ever. Anywhere. Ever. In the history of mankind. And I do think this needs to be a video, like, on its own. But I've written down just a taster list. Okay? Taster menu of some of the most ridiculous festivals I have ever heard of. So, of course, we have cheese rolling. How about the Dorset Knob Festival? It's basically a hard biscuit that people hurl competitively. We also have the Straw Bear Festival. So this man...
I'd like to see more of this, what was that called? Knob chucking? Dorset Knob. Makers of the famous Dorset Knob biscuits. And then you throw them through the air like they're a frisbee almost, or like you're trying to skip a rock by the looks of the way he's throwing it. It's basically a hard biscuit that people hurl competitively. We also have the Straw Bear. Are you just trying to see how far you can throw them? Is that all the whole point of it? You're not trying to actually hit anything? Seems like fun though. Festival. So this man is led through the streets in Cambridgeshire. And honestly, looks like a horror movie. Then, of course, you have Bonfire Night. Now, I have celebrated Bonfire Night for many years here in the UK. It is wild when you think about it. I guess that's one of the things, being here for 7 years, Bonfire Night has become a yearly tradition, right? Oh, my dog just hit. But when I actually sit down and I think about it, there we go. That's pretty weird, isn't it? However, you guys didn't tell me that the village of Ottery St. Mary in East Devon goes a little bit above and beyond everybody else, right? So we're talking about fire. We're talking about fire in the streets. We're talking about literal blazing barrels of tar. I love this country. And really with that, we are only scratching the surface. So I'm going to do a video about festivals shortly. If you guys have a festival that you want to include, please leave a comment down below. I guess I just never really thought about this before, but once I started Googling, I literally couldn't stop. And this is kind of lame, but while I was doing this, I was like, okay, so comparatively, what do we have in Canada? And I'm trying to think of like festivals that I have experienced that I've been to. Canada is obviously a giant country. So I'm from Ontario. I'm thinking Ontario festivals. Yeah, I'm from Ontario too. And I'm trying to think of some festivals myself right now. And we have one called Waterfront Festival. It's like an ethnic food festival. Which when I was a little kid, I didn't know what that was the whole point of it. But when I grew up, I kind of realized it was kind of like a fair. But also food from all around the world was there. And not just people in my town would come to this festival. People from all over the world would come to this festival. And I live in a very small city in Ontario, but and it stopped for a few years. Um but they're now back to doing it again. They do concerts during it. Um I've seen a few people there that were big at certain times in their lives, and but it's the only one that I know about locally in my area. I'm trying to think. I don't really know of too many weird festivals. It's just basically like a fair with like food from all over the world for the whole weekend, and they call it Waterfront Festival because they do it on the waterfront. But other than that, I don't know. What's she gonna say?
Okay, like what kind of festivals? And do you know what festival came to mind? We have a peach festival where you go and eat peaches. And they have peach ice cream and peach pies and peach cobblers. And it is a festival about peaches. Which, when you say it like that, kind of sounds kind of lame. Peaches are awesome though. But it's hard to compare peaches with burning barrels of tar.
Yeah.
Another thing you'll see
comparison.
in the UK that is so sweet and funny, and I think very British, has to do with offering things to British people. And quite simply, British people cannot accept something unless you offer it to them a couple of times. Now, I saw this a lot, especially when I was working in an office. So maybe someone comes around with like a tin of biscuits and they're like, would you like a biscuit? And the British person has to say, oh, no, I shouldn't. And they're like, oh, come on, have a biscuit. And they're like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, oh, you'll love it, have a biscuit. And they go, all right then. Even though both parties know that that person is going to take a biscuit, they just have to do this little dance first. And thinking about...
Is that true? Do you all have to do that little dance of, no, I don't want it, oh, come on, take it, and then, eventually the conclusion is you take it?
This, I don't know if I've ever seen a British person accept something on the first offer. I don't think I've ever seen it.
That's weird.
Does it exist? I don't know. Have you seen it? If we're talking about things that you can only see in the UK, we have to talk about absolutely unhinged roundabouts. And I think you know which one.
I'm not a fan of roundabouts myself, but our roundabouts aren't big. They're small, and they've started putting them in everywhere down here in roads so they can keep people from, racing and speeding down them and whatnot. But mainly our roundabouts are there'd be a four-way there at one point, and then they just decided to make it a roundabout, but it's not a very big, nothing like what we just saw right there.
About
that's a big roundabout. I have nothing close to me anywhere about. Not saying there isn't any here in Canada. There probably is, but maybe there isn't. I don't know. But I know the ones that I have around here are all really small. Like, that thing's got multiple lanes.
Absolutely unhinged roundabouts. And I think you know which one that I'm talking about in particular. Whenever British people hear that I have a UK driver's license, they always say, when are you going to do the magic roundabout? To which I say, I would rather die. So Swindon thought, you know what? How can we put ourselves on the map? Literally. And somebody said, you know what? Let's make the most frightening, intense, unnecessarily complicated roundabout system that we've ever done, ever, anywhere else. Let's do it. And so they did. And it's still there. So no, I haven't been to Swindon. Anyone here from Swindon? Hello. I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, and I'm deeply sorry. No, I have not done the magic roundabout. No, I don't.
This is the magic roundabout? Oh, wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. That is very confusing. It's more like a spiral about than a roundabout. You got all kinds of things going on in here. Yeah, I could see why you'd be a little bit intimidated to get onto that.
I don't like roundabouts. I respect the benefit and the positives of having roundabouts instead of intersections. They do not come naturally to me. They make me clammy and sweaty, but realistically, most things do. Something that you will only see in the UK is afternoon tea and crumpets. But wait, there's more. So I think every sort of foreigner or expat's list about the UK includes afternoon tea, crumpets, you know, clotted cream and jam and which goes first and all that sort of stuff is very, very British, but it's a bit obvious, right? We all know about afternoon tea. However, I was out exploring the other day and I walked by a hair salon. Yeah, a hair salon. And they were advertising a haircut and afternoon tea and crumpets. Yes, at a hair salon. I've never seen such a thing before, and I don't know if I'll ever see it again. So if you ever fancy, you know, need a haircut, I was sort of holding off waiting to get one, but I sort of need a haircut. You can go and have afternoon tea and crumpets and get your hair cut, which is just so unbelievably British. It's hilarious. Do you have the crumpets before you get your haircut? During the haircut?
I would hope to have them personally before I have my hair cut. I don't know if I'd want to have a bunch of hair going around and then be like, oh, hold on. Just getting that hair out of my mouth.
After the haircut, what do you do with like bits of hair flying in the air?
Yeah,
Do you just
exactly.
ignore it? I don't know what happens. I just saw it and I thought it was hilarious. Another thing that I love about the UK, and I feel like you can only see it here, has to do with street names. So, how about Silly Lane in Lancashire, Dick Place in Edinburgh, Crotch Crescent, Oxfordshire. Does holding my laptop
That's a
like
good
this
one.
bother you?
Not
How
even a
about
little
this?
bit.
Butthole Lane, Leicestershire. Titty Ho in Northamptonshire. Dumb Woman's Lane in East Sussex. Now I had
Dumb Woman's Lane. That's funny. These are all pretty funny.
to Google this one a second time because I thought surely not, but surely yes, it does exist. How about Tom Tit Lane? Another one from Essex, and of course Kent, where I'm from, we have No Name Street.
Hey.
Wonderful. I can't say that I've ever come across really funny street names in Canada. My understanding is that perhaps the English language and words meant things differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of our streets over here are just people's last names that were important in different areas. Not saying all of them are, but a lot of street names are someone's last name from the past.
Back when some of these roads were named, perhaps, but when you think of Dumb Woman's Lane, I don't really know how that one makes sense. In Canada, our street names are so recent.
I think that one's funny
in
though.
terms of, you know, the grand history of mankind, that the English language is what it is when those streets were named, so we don't really have a lot of cool ones. But we have a million King Street and Queen Street. So many of them. And Main Street.
Yeah, I don't I don't believe I have a King Street close by. Probably do. A King George Square. Do definitely have a Queen Street. Um, yeah.
Because say what you will about Canadians.
And some numbered ones too, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in certain areas where there's like a bunch of roads just numbered.
We're really creative. One thing that was really surprising to me as a Canadian here in the UK, living my life, exploring, trying new things, looking for new experiences. Something that was never on my radar as a Canadian, but suddenly is very much a thing here in the UK, are train spotters. Such a large portion of British people seem to be obsessed with trains. I find it absolutely fascinating, so I made a whole video about it. I had so much fun making it. Definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!
What exactly is train spotters? Are they people that just like to watch trains go by? Do they take pictures of them? Because we do have people around here, photographers, that are somewhat obsessed with taking pictures of trains. Because you'll see them. I actually live like one house over from the tracks. I could throw a rock from my house and hit the train tracks. Um, and there'll be people standing down at like one of the intersections with their camera and their tripod all set up, waiting for a train to come by and take pictures of it. Would that be a train spotter, or is that something different? Um, but anyhow, yeah, I really enjoyed her video. She's got a really good sense of humor. Um, Maybe it's because we're both Canadian. I totally get it. Um, but yeah, that was pretty weird. The weirdest thing I'd say out of that whole pile was the fish pie, the fish head pie. That is some strange stuff. They didn't mention that in the food video I did before, but maybe because this one's more of a weird thing you don't know rather than like the norm. That was supposed to be like the 10 best, which I guess it wasn't. What I was told is it was more like an American's or someone else's version of an English food, like um, is what I heard in my comments. Anyway, is some of it wasn't very accurate. But anyhow, yeah, I liked her channel. What's this called? Let me see. Her channel is called Adventures and Naps. And I am, oh, I've already subscribed. Look at that. I'll give her a like. And yeah, I enjoyed her video. If you enjoy her video, I'll leave a link down below. Her channel is Adventures and Naps. You can go there, give her a like, maybe subscribe if you want, if you're feeling nice. But anyhow, yeah, that was a good video. Good, lots of information and knowledge on there. I learned some things I didn't know pretty much any of that, so it's all new to me. And anyhow, you guys have yourselves a great day, and I hope you decide to check out one of my other videos or come back next time I put up a video. All right, thanks for now. Have a great day, and goodbye.